Mrs. Bukaki here, guys. In this video, we're going to look at imaginary numbers. And imaginary numbers can be defined with I as the number whose square is equal to -1. Basically, I want you to take away from this video, I squared is equal to -1. And we'll look at some radical expressions with I, with negative numbers involved, and how we reduce them. So, simplifying numbers using I, let's take a look at the square root of negative, negative 20. Okay, so basically all we're going to do is take out that negative and then continue on simplifying the square root of 20. And how we do that is simply just pull out that negative, which would be I root 20, and now we can reduce our radical expression. So again, look for those perfect squares within the number. I know that 4 and 5 are a factor, with 4 being the perfect square. So we can take the square root of 4 and pull that out. And we're left with 2I root 5. The square root of 4 is 2. We already have the I out, and we're left with the root 5 underneath. Let's try another one. I have the square root of negative 32. Again, all we're doing is taking that negative out, which would be I, and we're left with the square root of 32. How does the square root of 32 reduce? Well, I know it can be the square root of 16 times the square root of 2, where 16 is our perfect square. So we're left with square root of 16 is 4, 4I, and root 2 stays as is. Okay, so let's take a look at what complex numbers are. So complex numbers and imaginary numbers are a part of this. And they can basically, the standard form is written as A plus BI, where A is your real portion and BI is your imaginary. Okay, so this is how the format we want it in when we're reducing. So let's take a look at an example. Say I have the square root of negative 8 plus 3. Okay, so let's reduce our square root of negative 8. We can pull out that negative, so we're left with I root 8. And we know that 4 times 2 will give us 8. Here's our perfect square. We can take that out, and we're left with 2I root 2 plus 3. Now, is this the format that we want? If we go to our previous slide, we want the real portion first. In proper form, we want the real portion first, then our imaginary. So all I'm going to do for my final answer is flip them. Okay? One more example for you. Square root of negative 12. We're going to take that negative out, which gives us I root 12. And you can reduce all the way down. You can find the perfect square right away. This time, let's try to reduce all the way down. Say I have, for instance, if I chose some factors 6 times 2, I can reduce the 6. I found a pair of numbers here, which I can take out of the expression, and I'm left with the 3. So my final answer would be 2I root 3. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll get into more complex numbers, more with complex numbers later on. Have a good day.